Mama, what if the roadblocks aren't stopping you? They're redirecting you. Today, I sat down with Kate Bevan and we talked about trusting your intuition, embracing change, and moving forward even when the path doesn't look exactly like you expected. If you're in a season of transition, this one's for you. Hey mamas, welcome back to Mamas Building Businesses. I'm joined today with Kate Bevan and I am so excited about our conversation. So Kate is a mama, a wife. She has been a hairstylist for over 15 years and is on the journey of opening her own salon. Kate, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So I really enjoyed our conversation when we first met, and I'm so excited to have you on because, like I shared with you, I've had a lot of people on and they've all owned their own businesses for a while, like maybe a year, maybe 5 years, but you are really on the journey of just getting started. So, for anybody who is meeting you for the first time, who is Kate as Kate, as a mom, as yeah.
So, Kate is a very, very busy mom. I have four kids all together, so we are very busy just with, the kids' regular school stuff and their sports, and then obviously my career, which has always been, a big part of my life. I spent most of the time on Nantucket until recently, so I was living on an island, so it was a different lifestyle there with the kids. So it was kind of growing a business in a small area isn't always the easiest. So that was kind of a big eye opener for me. It took a long time to build. So yeah, basically I'm a full-time mom, full-time hairstylist, and now taking on this salon. So I'm really excited. It's something I've always wanted to do. And now I'm just looking forward to getting that going.
Did you have a moment where you knew like that you just wanted to own your own salon? Like, did you have sort of like this aha, like,
So I have always wanted to be a hairstylist since I was little. And I always knew I wanted to own my own business. I, did do some managing at the salon that I still currently work at a few days a week. And that really gave me the final push and eye opener to realize like, wow, like there's another step of this that, and I feel like I needed to like do something more. I'm always someone that like feels like I can be doing more, giving more, or
mhm.
doing better for me. So I feel like it really gave me that push to like get me to do it finally, even though obviously it's a scary choice to make, and it's financially a big expense, and you're really putting all your eggs in one basket and just hoping for the best. But I believe that's what you have to do to become successful, and really focus on it and just go for it.
100%. Without risk, there's no reward. Um, and opening a brick and mortar business. So I've owned a brick and mortar business and I've owned like a home-based or like virtual, I would say virtual business, like where I just work at my home office. And there is a lot more entailed with a brick and mortar because you have, number one, you have a lot more overhead, but two, you also have a lot of red tape, which you have dealt with in trying to find a location. So what has that journey been like learning to navigate and overcome these things that you've just never faced before?
Um, so, like I said, I was on Nantucket well, I still am working there, but I was living there for around 12 years doing hair full time. So living there, the expenses are extremely high. It's, I think, one of the most expensive places to live in the US. So obviously getting a salon started there would be extremely difficult. You can do it, but obviously it's a lot higher startup costs. I moved over to Cape Cod about 2 years ago, and I wanted to still have a high end area that I can charge better pricing and have that same clientele. So I decided to find a place. It's called Chatham. And so it is a very, very beautiful, quaint town. I love it so much. It's a very popular wedding place as well. So I really needed to find the perfect location. That was key for me. And I always knew that that's where I wanted it to be when I was like looking at the Cape. Like that was my spot. So I did go through some trial and error finding a space that was very difficult. I went through a lot of ups and downs. I originally had found a different space and that kind of fell through after going through all the steps necessary. I was like almost, it was almost purchased. I had all of the like permitting and everything done. And then there was a right of first refusal and that kind of fell through. So I was really devastated and like took it as a sign like, wow, maybe it's just not meant to be right now. But then luckily I had this other place that I found come along and I am not purchasing it, which again is a little bit of a bummer for me. But I still am going to be renting it. I'm excited. And hopefully as time goes on, maybe one day I will get the option to buy it. But yeah, for now I'm looking forward to just getting it set up and going.
So one of the things that we talked about during our first conversation was like the intuition and the God whispers and I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So when that fell through and you kind of go through this, like, oh no, maybe this is not what I'm supposed to do, and you start questioning, and I think everybody in business experiences that at one point or another. Um, sort of a two-part question. How did you know, like, what was intuition and what was fear? And how did you find the fortitude to just like move in spite of the fear?
Yep. So I'm a really big believer in trusting your gut. Like I've told you that before. And I think when I was younger, I didn't do that as much. I didn't really understand it, but now I do get a pretty good feeling. I also used to allow a lot of outside influences to kind of maybe persuade me to do something I, maybe don't want to do, so I've really tried to focus on like what I feel is best for me and my family. And that's really what I've been sticking to. And so far that has really been great. And it's, led me to where I am right now. So I'm really excited about that.
That's amazing. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think we all go through that when we're younger, but it's like learning to come out of it. And I think that some of it is spending time with yourself so that you can learn to trust yourself. Like when you're always including other people in those conversations, it's hard to like hear yourself and know what
Yes.
your voice is. So you are what I would consider like a more luxury hairstylist. And you definitely are in the Cape, which is very like affluent. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of old money. And so some of it is dictated by location, but how do you like convey your value
Mhm.
to, because you charge very different than somebody in a different location, right? And it also has to do with your experience and your clientele, but how do you not only convey your value, but feel comfortable like charging higher pricing because you have to believe in those prices to, you know what I mean, to get your clients to believe in those prices.
I think that with hairdressing, especially, I mean, with everything, but you really need to like believe in yourself
Mhm.
and know that you're worthy of what you're doing. Now, also that takes a lot of like, I took a lot of classes. I stay up to date on all the newest trends. I, really try to stay on social media and getting people's attention and making videos and really putting in the work and the effort, not just behind the chair, but also behind the scenes, of the business and stuff like that as well. So I really think that, it's there. Like I said, I do have like a specific clientele that I do cater to mostly, but I think that, when I get somebody in my chair, they realize that it's a different experience. I really pay attention to the hair. I focus on them. I don't take clients in between while you're processing because I want the full attention to be on that client. I don't want them to feel that I'm like rushing over here and rushing, like over there, because it can get like
Mhm.
that in salons, which is fine. But that's why my pricing is higher, but I also give a different experience to the client as well, plus give them the results that they want without damaging their hair.
I
So,
love that because it is, and I think this conveys in any aspect of life that you have to be willing to invest in yourself and your craft. It's not enough to be like, oh, I went to hair school or oh, you know, it's funny because I say this a lot of times with college, and I am not an anti-college person by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm like, I have learned so much more from on-the-job training, from like having my own business than I ever learned in school. Like, if it was me going back, wanting to be where I'm at now, I would have just skipped school and went right into learning. Um, because it's like qualifications aren't enough and you have to invest in yourself.
right.
So, because you are just getting started, what do you feel like has been the hardest part of starting a new business?
I would say the hardest part is just getting all the paperwork together. There is so much paperwork. Plus, you're finding insurance, you're doing permitting, you're ordering things that you need, you're trying to get it all set up at the right time for when things are arriving. And also getting your contractors and your plumbers and your, electricians all organized and focused, and really staying on people to make sure everything's getting done and proactively, so it's that's been a little bit of a challenge, just keeping as I don't like to be the person that's bothering someone. I'm a very
Mhm.
organized person usually, so I like to be that way. So I know that that's not everybody, and that's business owners aren't all that way either, some of them. So I have to remind myself sometimes, it's okay, take a breath. And again, my first time around when I was doing all this, I was really high strung and stressed about it. Oh, they're not emailing me. Well, I don't really stress about it anymore. I need these things done, and they're going to get done, but I try to just take a breath before reacting. That's another thing I've had to learn. Don't just react, take a minute and just let it settle in, and then, and then process it, because I used to really like to react to things probably too quickly. So
Same. Same. And having your own business is like it really stretches you as a person. I would think being a hairstylist in general, like even prior to having your own business, probably stretches you a lot because you're in such close confines with people all the time with so many different personalities. And anytime
yes.
you deal with a lot of people, it really stretches you as a person, like how to communicate and how to make people feel comfortable because perception is huge, right? Like you might say something and mean it one way and somebody perceives it a different way. Um, so with everything that you're doing and just getting started in pouring all of this money into a brick and mortar, and we don't have to talk specific numbers, but I'm just wondering when you were deciding on the budget to open the salon, how did you gauge what that budget was? Was it like, okay, I have to be able to recoup all of this money within the first year, within the first 2 years? Like, how did you determine what your budget was?
So I did a business plan, a very an intense business plan, and I kind of did it for a 5 year setup. So my plan is to, in the next couple years, have 4 to 5 employees. So just to start, it's just going to be me. Hopefully, I will hire someone for the summer, because that will start to pick up again. This is a season; it gets busier, and then I'm hoping from there it'll just grow. So I'm hoping that this will all kind of fall into place after the summer. So after I kind of went through the whole business plan, I I did my numbers off sort of what I'm doing now for myself in the salon, but that I'm also only working part-time. So I have to remember, I'm going to be working full-time now. I also know, I don't really have a full clientele here yet. So I'm working on building that clientele too. So the first year is a little bit, just kind of getting myself out there, going into the town and meeting people and giving out business cards and going to social events and networking and all that stuff, to really build up my brand. And then hopefully from there, word of mouth and advertising, it'll all take off. So yeah, I basically just did that business plan and kind of put all my expenses in there and figured out what my cost will be with everything. And so I will be working a lot.
Working a lot, yes. It's a really, it's a big expense, but it will be such a big payoff in the long run. And you do have four amazing kids. So what do you hope that your kids get out of watching you build this business? Because our kids watch us a lot.
Yes. So my youngest, Grace, she's 8. She definitely loves what I do. She thinks it's like cool and I love that. So I really I want the kids to look up to me, and see like I worked really hard to get to where I am. Building a clientele, building a business, and being a full-time mom is not an easy thing. Obviously, like none of us realize how much our parents give for us when we're young. We don't realize it till we're older. At least that's how I was,
Mhm.
now I realize like how much my parents did for me. So I think that my daughter sees me as this cool person that, has a really fun job and makes people happy. And I think that she really looks up to that. And I want all the kids to see like you have to work really hard for what you want. It doesn't just come to you. And I think it's important to instill that in your kids and see like it's, you really have to work for what you want and it's not just going to be handed to you. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such a great lesson. And how moving into going from part-time to full-time in a salon, how do you anticipate that will change like the dynamic of your family and how like have you thought about how you're going to balance all of
Mhm.
this? Because four kids in a full-time business is a lot and hairstylists work very long hours. It's not always like a 9 to 5 schedule.
Correct. Yeah. So honestly, I used to work full time. I was a single mom with my 2 kids at the time, full time, and it was a lot, and it was hard for them. But it was kind of like what I had to do. So they kind of have a little sense of what it's like when mom's working a lot. I'm hoping as time goes, I love to be behind the chair. Don't mind my puppies
Oh, you're fine.
barking. um, I would like to fizzle away from behind the chair and eventually just kind of be running a business with maybe the option to open another one at some point and then just be more managing everything. Um, so I think basically my kids are my life and they're my priority always. And obviously my business is very important as well, but I'm going to make sure I make it a point to still be there for them too. I want them to understand that they are very important to me as well. So I will try to be as balanced as I can. And I think too, I have learned that a lot of the clients really do appreciate, like when you're a mom and stuff like that, they do stand behind you. And I've had such great clients over the years. Who have stayed with me, through after I had kids and took time off, and you really appreciate those people because you know that they really care about you as a person. And obviously, like you care about them as well. And you want their hair to look good and they really like what you do. So I think that, as long as I try to keep it as much as I can between the two and really also have a really strong group of girls working with me, I think it'll be extremely successful. I just got to get all these people on the same page and just be a really good boss so that, people want to work there and they really enjoy it and the clients want to keep coming back.
Well, you're no doubt going to be successful because you have really good energy. And if there's anything I've seen in business, like time after time, is company culture starts at the top. And excuse me, you've probably experienced this too as a stylist. Like we really teach people or train people like how to work with us. That's whether it's, somebody working for you or even your clients, like as far as like respecting your time. If you respect their time, they're going to respect your time, and stuff like that. So I think that is incredible. Now, you have been a stylist pre-kids, post-kids. How has motherhood really shaped the way you're willing to take big risks like this and work really hard for what you want?
So I think honestly what it is my patience has maybe a little bit better. Also, I have a little bit more of a nurturing characteristic to me, and I really enjoy teaching what I do. I don't like to, keep back my secrets. I share with whoever I'm working with, not just people that work for me, but anyone. I will share with them how I do things, why I do it that way. Like I said, I do a lot of classes and trainings, and I just think it's important to share with other people and not expect it back, because that's also a thing. You just can't, I had to learn that lesson as well. Just because I'm giving, that doesn't mean you're getting it back. But I'm a big believer in like what you put out into the universe, you get back. And I'm just really hoping to, share whatever I can with the future stylists that are new, and even the older ones that might work for me who already know a lot. You can always learn stuff from everybody, even people that are just getting out of school. So it's a pretty cool, a pretty cool job where there's so many different aspects of what you can do in it. And there's a lot of different careers there too that can be built from it.
So when we were talking before, you mentioned like bringing on an assistant. I know you have done education for other stylists and stuff before, but have you ever done like close proximity mentoring like that? Um,
So I have not done that yet. I definitely am going to do that. I have taught in some of the tech schools here a few classes. I love doing that. It's really cool to see some of these stylists in high school learning so much. I didn't have that option when I was in school. I I basically had to go to just a hair school after, where these kids are just in high school getting their license, which is great. I would say though, it is a stepping stone. I wouldn't say they're like fully ready to come work in a high-end luxury, salon.
yeah.
There are other options. I know some of them may go to a more chain type of salon or something like that, where they can start behind the chair. But I really think there's building blocks, and some of the clients can be a little more difficult. So you really want to make sure that they're ready, and I will take them under my wing as much as I can and really, guide them in the right direction. But yeah, I haven't really done it one-on-one yet. I've only done it in the classroom setting, but that is my goal, is to have, some of these tech kids actually come in, and they do a co-op, so they can once they're a junior or a senior, they can go into the salons and do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So they're assisting, they're not, doing hair or whatever, but they're kind of getting the overall picture of how the salon is run and things like that. So it's a great program for them to really get into a salon as a stepping stone and then build up from there.
That's incredible. I mean, it's like an internship. And I think what's going to be so amazing as you start mentoring people too is there are a lot of aspects to being a hairstylist that isn't taught in beauty school. I mean, like you're talking about branding and networking, and hairstylists, they really are their own business and brand, even when they, if they want to build clientele, even if they work in somebody else's salon. And there's so many of those, like, I would call them like more like foundational business things that stylists really need if they want to succeed. And I mean, my guess is that they do not teach stuff like that very much in hair school. It's
No.
probably just hair, right? So,
Correct. Yep.
so that's incredible. So, okay, to bring things full circle, for the mama listening who wants to step out on her own, maybe she's been doing the same thing for a long time, maybe she's a hairstylist, maybe it's in some other capacity, um, but she is scared because she feels safe where she is, but she feels in her heart that she's meant for more and she wants to take a leap, but she's terrified. What advice would you give her from where you're at right now? Because you're in the thick of it.
Yeah. Honestly, my thing is embrace change. Change happens to all of us all the time, and is a scary thing, obviously, for everybody. But you really need to embrace it and trust your gut and just go with it. Because if you're ready for a change, or you want to take on a new whatever, like, you just need to go for it. You have to just try it. It's scary, but it's like I feel like once you do it, you'll know. Like when you made the right decision, you just know, and you're going to be so grateful that you did it.
That is the best piece of advice. Embrace change.
Yes.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for being with us today. I cannot wait to do a follow-up episode with you when your salon's been open for a while and we can get an update because it's going to be
Please.
very successful. I'm really
You.
excited for you.
Me too. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited too.
And for all the mamas listening, I will put Kate's links in the description if you would like to connect with her. And if you're enjoying these conversations, please like and subscribe so that we can continue bringing them to you. See you guys soon.